Belt tensioner frame part 3, finishing details. Let's go ahead and finish this part off. We're almost done. You can see that really all that's left to do is add the holes for the shaft and for the mounting down below here. I'm going to use the hole wizard instead of just sketching and doing cuts. The hole wizard has a few advantages if you're going to send this part to do CNC work. It's also just a nice command to learn how to use. And so if you haven't used it before, it's a little tricky, but it can do a lot of neat things. So you can see that we've got a couple different sizes here. It's this hole is 22, this one is 16, then it's 11 all the way through on the two lowers. So let's see how we might go about doing that using the hole wizard. This first one's easy enough. I'm going to pick the surface, and you should always pre-select your surface when you go to hole wizard unless you're trying to build holes on multiple planes. That's a little trickier, and I'm not going to do that in this video. But I certainly can demo it later in another video if you'd like to see it. But here's how we're going to do this. We're first going to pick the hole type. It's just a straight hole. Pick ANSI metric, because again, this is a metric part. I don't want dowel holes. I want drill sizes, and I'm going to specify 11 millimeters. So I'll just keep scrolling with my mouse until I get to 11. There it is, 11. And in this case, I'm going to say through all. I don't want any countersinks. And you set the hole that way. You'll notice that you have tapped holes. You can do holes for setting in for screw heads, etc. Counter bores, counter sinks. Quite the variety. We go to the position command. Notice it's snapped into my selected plane. This would be where you'd get in trouble. If you don't pre-select the plane, it's now going to put you in a 3D mode and ask you for a plane. But since we've already done one, we're good. Notice I get a preview of the hole size. I just picked the origin there because I want it in the center. Then I can tap escape when I'm done making a hole or holes, and I can add dimensions if necessary. Here I don't need it because I've set up this part so that the origin could be used. Accept it, and there's the hole. And you'll notice that it left the sketch on. It shouldn't. That's a, you can see that sketch. You can hide it. You can show it. There, we got rid of it. That's the graphics card having a little fun. I've got the high graphics resolution turned on. So when you see things like that happen, and that'll happen in any of these codes where you get these little graphics glitches, usually reset. I'll take care of it. All right. And we said that it's 16 here, it's 22 here. So let's do those next. So I'll pick this surface, go back to the hole wizard. The only thing that changes is it's now 22, so I'm going to scroll and hit 22. And the end condition is going to be up to next. And then I'll go to positions. Here, I can pick on the outer rim that highlights the center, and then I can just click on it, like that. And notice that it only went up to next. And again, notice I'm seeing that sketch. That's an interesting bug. I haven't seen this one yet. But easy enough just to reset it and clear it. You might ask why that's happening. The reason is I'm using SOLIDWORKS 2025. It's in a very early release stage. And you'll sometimes see in the first releases of these softwares, things don't quite work the way you like them to. This time I'm going to come over to this face, hole wizard, go back and do the 16. Up to next, position, highlight this edge, find the center, done. And you'll see that, again, I'm getting that interesting error. Actually, I think I know what's doing this because I have all the recording software turned on too, and that always adds a level of excitement when you're using SolidWorks. So there's the holes. Now the only thing left to do is this keyway. I've got that on a second sheet with the detail, and you can see it's 6 wide and it's 1.74 from the arc. How we go about building that? Well, this I'm going to use a cut. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to sketch. I'm going to come up to the top here. I'm going to start with a center line. I think that'll be helpful for me. I don't need it, but it certainly can't hurt. And what I'm going to sketch, I'm going to go to dynamic mirror just to show you I can use it with this center line, and I'll come across like this. This will force my symmetry like that, and I can turn off dynamic mirror. Pick the arc, convert entities. Good. And you'll notice that that didn't line up, so you can get it to ride like that. That worked real well. Use my trim command, trim away, and now I'm left with my piece. And easy enough to dimension, 6 millimeters. And this length is 1.74. It's not the best dimensioning, but that's what was in the text, so I'm going to run with it. 1.74. There we go. That's all better. Now, I get asked this question from time to time. He says, gosh, that circle looks terrible. It looks like a hexagon or an octagon. That's a settings in the settings module. And you can, under performance, you can add detail. You can also, under document properties, under model display, there's a couple places where you can set this image quality as 1, and you'll notice that it's low. If I go and set it high, it looks, see how much better it looks now? Now it looks real pretty, but that beats up your graphics card, just to warn you. Go back to document properties, image display. I tend to keep it set down. There's just no need. You see, you can adjust everything in these codes, and it's nice to know that, but it doesn't affect the circle. Mathematically, there's no difference. It's just that it's chunking it to save memory. It's okay. I know it looks a little disturbing here, but you'll see it'll work just fine when we go feature, extruded cut, up to next. And there it is. So now the part is completely built. I want to do a drawing of this, and I think I'm going to make a 4th video for that because we have enough here in this video that I think I'll stop it here and do a 4th and final one, making the engineering drawing. But we've got the part completed now, and you'll see that it's not a lot of features, but we do have a couple of datum planes. We have a lot of holes, so it's got a lot going on. But you can see it's all done fairly logically. You know, our step control, just to review, was we started with the bottom. Notice that we're 35 millimeters off the right plane. We built the top cylinder, which is a little larger. We added our 2 datum planes, 9 millimeters in from the back side, and then we figured out, based on the sweep, we use the guide curves to determine the height because they're set by the tangent, and then we made a sweep using those guide curves, made the fillets, mirrored all of that geometry, added the connecting piece, added the fillets, and then just popped it full of holes in the keyway. And then we're done.